Shalom Akim, your brother Ratazat Allah from GMS Standing Camp. First and foremost, give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakakudash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders, the great millstone, teach and rule well. Blessings unto the hopeful elect, man of four winds. This is going to be a quick upload in regards to the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. Which, 2019, like the apostles and elders have been saying, it's going to be a major year for these devils to push this, man, because we're at the end of this thing. We're at the end of Esau's kingdom, man, which is the so-called white man. Why? Because the Most High is about to pronounce that, ultimate judgment on these devils and their kingdom, man. For all the wickedness and, the blasphemies, as the scripture says in Revelation, the 13th chapter, that this devil did on this planet, man, and ultimately, to the children of Israel, man, But just to go on the point of the whole point of this whole RFID chip being in the making in the first place is because, and why it's so imperative and important in the scriptures is because, the Most High put in the spirit of these devils and so-called white people to make this chip, man. It was preordained, man. No other nation on this planet has been able to develop this kind of technology at such a sophisticated level. Even in the words of this devil here, Carl Sanders, and he was the RFID chip inventor, man, from the 60s, going into the 70s, man. He was one of the inventors, man, and he comes out and he spills the beans and just, tells it how it really is, man. And that he knew from when he read the scripture in Revelation, the 13th chapter, that, that's what the chip was, exactly what the mark of the beast was, man. It was the chip, contrary to popular belief, especially in the nation of Israel, you got a lot of backbiters and knuckleheads, stiff necks. They don't want to believe the RFID is the mark of the beast. The RFID chip is the mark of the beast. But you're going to be sadly mistaken, man. Some of you are sold out or whatever for whatever reasons or whatever, or some of you just being ignorant to this truth. But at the end of the day, the Most High put in these devils' spirit to create this chip, man. Just like he put it in their spirit to create the missiles, man. As it tells you in the book of Isaiah, the 54th chapter, man. He created a smith that blow off the coals in the fire, man. To create the weapons of his indignation. The weapons of whose indignation? The Most High's. That's the weapons of his righteous judgment, man. That's gonna come on the earth. That's the ultimate judgment, man. And part of that ultimate judgment is based upon, these devils developing this mark of the beast system, man, which the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, put in their spirit to create, to trap 2/3 of the nation of Israel into taking it, and to judge Esau ultimately and the other nations, man. Anyone else that takes to this chip is going to be put to death by way of nuclear fire, man, in the presence of Yahweh Shai, which they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, and the holy angels, man, when he returns in his second coming. So there was a whole purpose for the whole reasoning why this chip system is being developed to such a mass scale, and it's the final one of the final major prophecies before the ultimate judgment of the Lord, the wrath of the Lord on this earth, man. There's a reason why this chip is being developed, man. So the RFID chip, or the mark of the beast, is not no damn embargo. It's not Christianity. It's not sin. Well, it is sin to take the chip, but it's not the as some people have been trying to say, it's transgressions. The mark of the beast is your transgressions, man. That's BS, man. It's an actual implantable device that these devils he even admitted and went into from the Greek, in Revelations the 13th chapter, that these devils are developed over the years since the 60s, man. Since the blood clot 60s. A lot of us weren't even born in the 60s, man. That's what it was put in. It was innate. It was predestined that these devils was gonna make this mark of the beast chip system, man. For a reason, man. They didn't just all of a sudden have just have an epiphany or a sign, just to, basically just develop this chip for no reason, man. It was already put in their spirit from the Heavenly Father that they was going to create that chip system, man. you know, because they're the last rulership on the earth. It's their beast. It's their system. It's their beast-like system, man, from the ancient pagan Roman Empire, man. And a bunch of Europeans are ruling over this earth right now. That's why the scripture says, Job 9:24, that the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, man. When you check out, the history and, how the actual chip was developed, man, it makes complete sense, man, that it's these devils that will create it, man. Because it ain't the Chinese that created the RFID chip. It weren't the Hamites, it weren't the so-called Africans, it weren't the Arabs. It weren't put in their spirit to develop no RFID chip, you know. It was put in the spirit of the so-called white man because he's ruling on the earth right now. As I said, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, you know. And it's his system that's ruling on the earth, his European system, man. So it makes complete sense. And I just want to jump to the scriptures. I don't even want to speak for too long. But this is if you watch the video, Carl Sanders, he basically spills the beans, man. The ins and outs of the whole thing. And how the CIA and FBI came to him in the 70s to develop a damn chip, man. So they've been developing them, these RFID chips since the 60s and the early 70s, man. This is 2 Ezra 16 and 68. It says, "For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you." It says, "And they shall take away certain of you." Who's the day that they shall take away certain of you? Is Esau, man, the so-called white man, in time of what? Time of martial law, the time of civil unrest, man. Time of re-education system, schoolings and that, the concentration camps, man, FEMA camps, if you will. It says, "And feed you, being idle, with things offered unto idols," man. And what's that talking about? That RFID chip system, the mark of the beast. Because as I'm going to read in Revelation the 13th chapter, anyone that doesn't want to worship the image of the beast, which is this new system that he's going to introduce to the world, is going to be put to death, man, by way of the guillotine or any other harsh, way that these devils see fit, man. But mainly by that guillotine, man. That's why they're bringing that capital punishment back into play, man. And that's going to affect the whole globe. It's not just going to be in America. This is going to cause with all around the four winds, man. That's that hour of temptation that the Lord was talking about, man. And it says in Revelations 2:10 that he's going to put certain men imprison certain men, especially trying to imprison the men of the Lord to try and force them to take that chip, man. Well, that's why we got our faith and we have our faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, that in that time of trouble he's going to deliver us out of those perils, man. Or even unto death, we be faithful unto death. He's still going to deliver us, man. The scriptures talk about the men that are going to be beheaded for this faith. It says 69. It says, "And they that consent unto him, they that consent unto them." Who's the them? Esau. You consent unto these devils, shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot. Yeah, you're gonna be put to death, man. If you take off that mark of the beast system, you take off that chip, man. The Lord's gonna, destroy you, man. Especially Israel, man. 2/3 of Israel, they already seeded to be destroyed because they're gonna take this chip when the time comes, man. Because they ain't got no faith in the Lord. They don't acknowledge the Lord, man. They reject his knowledge. So the Lord said what in Proverbs the 1st chapter? He's gonna reject them. It says, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord." Yeah, these devils gonna come down on the men of the Lord, man. That's how I said it's gonna be that trial and error, that final trial and error, man, that hour of temptation, man. To try our faith, man. That at the end of the fiery trials when that hour of temptation comes, man. It says they shall be like madmen, sparing none. Yeah, with their troops and all that, man. Their stormtroopers are gonna be coming in blazing, man. Guns blazing, as they say. It says, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. See? So this is what's coming on the earth, man. It's not a joke. There's a whole purpose behind this whole thing coming on the earth in the first place, man. I'll read Revelations 2 and 10 real quick. And 20 and then 20th verse as well. Chapter, it's like, yeah. Revelations 2 and 10 says, "For fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. It says, behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried." Yeah, why is he going to cast certain men into prison? Because he's going to try and push that chip, which is the mark of the beast. There ain't no Christianity embargo, man. Ain't none of that BS, man. This is the actual thing that's going to take place, an event that's going to take place on this earth, man. you know. And for a lot of people, it's going to be too late. They're going to get caught out there, man. It says, and ye shall have tribulations 10 days. It says, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. And there's going to be certain men that are going to be faithful unto death, and are going to be beheaded for this truth, man, as a testimony of their faith, man. It's Revelations 20:4, man. It says, and I saw the thrones of them, of they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And it says, and I saw the souls of the men of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai, and for the word of the Most High. It says, and which have not worshipped the beast. Yeah, they didn't worship the image of this beast, man. Neither his image, you know. They didn't worship this system, man. They didn't want to partake in it, man. They became enemy combatants. They became outcasts, man. You know, outlaws, so to speak, man. Because they didn't take off that chip. You know, a lot of men are going to be on the run. You know, a lot of us are going to be, you know, starving for a minute, because we're not going to be able to buy a trade food or whatever it is, man. Because we ain't going to have that implant in our skin. That's going to be the new so-called money. You know, out with the old technology and in with the new. It says, neither had they received the mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. So they didn't receive the chip, man. So that's not talking about an embargo, man. That's talking about actually an actual device that's going to be implanted underneath the skin, which you're going to have to take if you want to be part of Esau's beast-like system, man. You know, worship is the image of the beast, so to speak. You know, it says, and they lived and reigned with Yahweh Shai, or Mashiach, 1,000 years. So these are actual things that's going to play on the earth, man. You got a lot of knuckleheads out there playing with the word of the Lord for whatever, you know, demonic ass reason. But they're gonna be partakers of this event as well, man. A lot of those guys are gonna end up taking the damn chip, man, because they ain't got no faith in the Lord, you know. But just to go back to the point of it's Esau's system, and it's been innate in his spirit to create this mark of the beast system from the beginning of time, you know. This is Revelation 13:1. It says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw the beast rise up out of the sea. And who's that beast type system, man? It's talking about NATO and the EU, which is a European dynasty, man, and a conglomerate, like Apostle Tahar said, a conglomerate of European nations that are ruling upon the earth, because it's Esau's system, so-called white man system that's ruling upon this earth, man, empire on this earth right now. You know, and the sea represents the peoples, man, the nations of the earth. They're on top. You know, that's why you got NATO, you know, and EU, and America's a part of that, man. They're the head honchos out of that whole thing, man. Because it's their system, man. It's their way of life. It says having 7 heads and 10 horns. It says upon his crowns were 10 crowns. It says upon his crowns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. And those 10 crowns represent the 10 common European markets that are ruling upon this earth right now, man. That come back from the, you know, pagan Roman Empire, which was, you know, wounded but then healed. You know, it says, and the beast which I saw was likened unto a leopard, which represents the Greeks. You know, and it says the feet was the feet of a bear, which represents the Russians. And the Russians are going to be the end of this whole system. You know, part of the end of this whole system with them nuclear missiles. And it says, in the mouth of the and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, which represents the UK, Great Britain, which America was spawned out of. It says, and the dragon gave his power and his seat and great authority, because they're under that Roman system, Roman system, man, from the ancient pagan Roman Empire, man. That way of living, that monetary way of living, and all of that, man, and these different European nations ruling on top, you know. And it says, and I saw one of their heads as it was wounded to death, and his head and his deadly wound was healed. Yeah, who's that represent? It represents the pagan Roman Empire, man. It was wounded to death for 1,000 years, went out of play. You know, these devils was up in the caves, dwelling in the mountains and shit. Then after 1,000 years during the Renaissance period, they came back. Their deadly wound was healed. It says, and all the earth wondered after the beast. It says, and they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And it says, and they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto this beast, who is able to make war with him? Doesn't that represent NATO and the EU, man? And America, man? You know, prostrating itself, you know, is that, you know, the head honchos of the earth, you know, bare proud and proud and haughty, thinking they can't be stopped, man, not even by the Most High, and making the whole world to wander after them. This is the Edomite kingdom right now, man. The scripture says this: the Esau is the end of the world. And that word world right there is talking about his basically the age of his rulership, man. It's over for him, man, you know. And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. It says, and there was given unto him the mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months. Let's jump down. Verse 12, and it says, and he exercised the power of the first beast before him, which is that pagan Roman Empire system, man. It says, and it causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. See? And then it goes into the whole beast system, man. This whole beast conglomerate system that they have now, which these devils made certain science to develop and craft this microchip to be used as the new monetary in their system, man, in their financial system, man, as a source of main control over the whole populace and whole earth, man. That monetary, man. It says, I'll read 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, which is the system that we're currently in. It says, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And that's what it is. And you're going to feed men idol that given things offered unto idols, man. And anyone that doesn't want to partake in it is going to be trodden underfoot, man. They're going to be stamped out. They're going to be killed, man. That's what these devils are going to do. They're going to force the sword and enforce this microchip system on the peoples, man. First, people are going to be willing when all hell breaks loose anyway. You know, in the time of Jacob's trouble, martial law and all that, a lot of Jake's going to be going willing, running to these damn health clinics to get the chip. But then he's going to have to come down on the peoples with force, man, and make it mandatory that people take that chip. And if they don't, they're going to be beheaded. Because that's the capital punishment of the land that's going to be permitted, man. That people are getting beheaded, man, executed, you know, by firing squad or whatever, man. That's what these devils are going to do, man. They're going to enforce it on the people, make it mandatory. Verse 16, it says, and he causeth all, both small and great. It's all, man. Ain't no one exempt from the, you know, from being you know, faced with this taking this chip, man. Everyone's going to be you know, faced with it, man. That's why it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. It's that our temptation, man. Whether you're going to take, you know, bow down to this devil, or you're going to stay faithful to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. It says to receive a mark in the right hand or in their foreheads, and that devil, Carl Saunders, even read that, man. He went into it, man. The word for mark and all that, man, which is karagma, and the root word of that is karaks, meaning to make a pale, stake, and implantable device inside the incision into the skin, man. And it goes into the side thigh stigma as well, man. You know. Verse 17, it says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark. So if you don't take part in that chip, brothers know these precepts anyway. But if you don't take part in it, you ain't going to be able to buy or sell, you ain't going to be able to eat, drinks, you know, whatever, man. You ain't going to be part of the system. You're going to be an outcast, basically, man. This is all the name of the beast. It says on the number of his name. And, you know, corrupt and sci-fi stigma goes into verse 18 and all that, man. It's not hard to understand. Well, it is hard for a lot of people to understand. It's me anyway, you know. But for the elect, they're going to get this full understanding, man. They're going to be a quick understanding. And they're going to be prepared in the spirit, not to take to this chip, but the main people on the earth, majority of the people on the earth, they're going to be, you know, flabbergasted and beguiled to take it, man. Because that's just part of their lot. But anyway, as I said, man, you know, the Most High put in this devil's spirit to make this chip and create this beast-like system for a reason, man. You know, and that's what's playing out right now on the earth, especially for 2019, Lord's willing. You know, these devils bring up forth this chip finally, so the Most High can bring forth that judgment, man, and take these devils out of power. You know. So anyway, I'm gonna close out. People praises and glory to Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Rakakodash. Until next time, I'll say Shalom.